Now this is an open debate. Kamal Mitra Chenoy of AAP and JNU, R Raghunandan of the Center for Policy Research, Hartosh Singh Bal, political editor of Caravan Magazine, Ritabrata Banerjee, Rajya Sabha MP of the CPIM. Good to see a new young face from the left. And Abid Rasool of the Congress, and Subramanian Swamy, who is now, by the way, chairman of, you've got a big long designation now, Dr. Swamy, chairman of the BJP Strategic Action Committee, which, by the way, has failed to present a manifesto till date. Anyway, that was only taking a dig at you. Everyone is taking a dig at you for that. You should have presented a manifesto instead of presenting a charge sheet.
You're asking me a question?
No, I'm making an observation which you agree with.
No, I don't agree with you.
Okay.
As usual, you got it wrong.
Well,
you're a highly opinionated man, so you have opinions.
Well, I with great pleasure, I can say you are a highly opinionated man as well.
I have an answer to that.
In any case,
listen. I have formed opinions. I'll answer what you said. First of all, you have got this mind fixated on some manifesto.
Some manifesto.
Fact is that Mr. Narendra Modi had addressed the you are the concept of a manifesto.
Concept
Mr.
of a manifesto.
Modi had addressed the national. Why don't you let me finish? Mr. Narendra Modi had addressed the National Council meeting in last December, where in his extensive speech, which is printed and circulated to every delegate, he had laid down the vision of what.
Yeah, so why have you been working so hard then?
Now, you want a manifesto. You want a manifesto right away. We'll give you a manifesto before the 16th
Then
I'd
say this, please be candid. I have a suggestion for you, Dr. Swamy. I think we all have a suggestion for you. On a completely non-partisan level, we have something to tell you. That in that case, you publicly...
you are non-partisan.
Yeah. Publicly declare we don't have a manifesto. Why come out with something you don't believe in? Abid Rasool?
It's only we do have
Arnab,
a manifesto, but the only dispute is whether we should...
very surprising debate and a surprising charge sheet where a single man-centric party without a manifesto totally involved in their internal wars of the caste and upper caste and lower caste, and then criminalization at the highest level, and they come up and charge a party with the allegations. I would like to say that each of the charges they have brought in, I can rebut them with statistics.
Okay, fine. So which of the charges? I give you a choice.
Of Mr. Subramanian Swamy being the strategic affairs chairman, I would say that the strategic affairs are only concerned with dividing the minorities and criminalization and Hinduata, nothing more than that. That is their agenda.
So I'm doing something I never do on Newshour, because it's a Friday evening. I can afford to be a little lenient, right? And since the Congress has been at my receiving end for some time, I'm giving you the unique and rare privilege today of choosing which of the 9 points you want us to debate. We'll debate it. I offer you a choice of 3 or 4. Which of the 9 points do you want to challenge the other side on?
I can debate with statistics on economic issues. I can debate with statistics on intrusions into India. I can debate with statistics on criminalization. I can debate with statistics on the FDI and development of this country, if Mr. Subramanian Swamy is ready on that.
No, pick up one. Which one do we pick?
Anyone, what he wants to debate. I leave it to him.
Which one do you want to pick up, Subramanian Swamy? Let's start the debate, okay? Which one?
All of them are equally good. I think the Congress has no defense. So
no,
that's
pick
why
up one.
Playing around. Let him pick one of them. Let him pick one of them. What is the problem? We hold all 9 very serious.
I start with the first one, that is the growth rate and GDP. In NDS period, it was 5.9.
No, 1 second. You are reading from a Congress sheet of paper. You are reading from a Congress sheet of paper. I pick up charge 1. I pick up charge 1, okay. Compromising the dignity and integrity of the office of the Prime Minister of India. Number 1 of the charge sheets.
Yes.
Number 1 of the charge sheets. Ritabrata, since you are joining the debate, I put that question to you.
Let me answer your charge. the Prime Minister of India has been held in the highest esteem by the world over. And in comparison, we have a single-man-centric person who wants to become a Prime Minister who is denied a visa to enter into US and European countries. What more charge you want to discuss on this issue? You have a Prime Minister who has been successful in getting the nuclear FDI through.
No, counter question. Counter questions coming in now, please. And when I allow counter questions, let them come in. Subramanian Swamy. Subramanian Swamy.
This very charge can be substantiated by one single event. Just as the Prime Minister was to meet Mr. Obama in Washington, Mr. Rahul Gandhi made a dramatic entry into a press conference and said, tear up the resolution passed by the cabinet. It is all wrong, bogus. And the Prime Minister was flabbergasted.
That is the commitment, Subramanian Swamiji, that is the commitment of the party to fight corruption. That is the commitment of the party to fight corruption. There is nothing demeaning the office of the Prime Minister. You answer my charge. You answer my charge. Does your Prime Ministerial candidate have got a visa to enter US? Doesn't he have cases?
Charge number 1 in the BJP charge sheet, and I'm letting Ritabrata Chatterjee in. Charge number 1 in the BJP charge sheet is that the Congress party has compromised the dignity and integrity of the office of the Prime Minister. I remind all our viewers, it took our Prime Minister 1 year to respond to the 2G scam, 1 year to respond to the CWG scam. It took him 6 months to speak on the Lokpal. It took him 82 days to speak over FDI in retail. It took him 9 days to respond to the Delhi gang rape. It took him 9 days to respond to the beheading at the LOC. Even Congress leaders are now complaining about the Prime Minister. Ritabrata, is that first charge correct in your view?
No, I have a point to make. I was hearing about GDP growth.
No, one second. Are you moving on? We are on? One second. Ritabrata, we are on point number 1. We have chosen to discuss first. We'll come to the economy. First point is disrespecting, compromising the dignity and of the office of the Prime Minister. Do you agree with the BJP on that?
See, Congress has gone down in the history of our country as the most corrupt ever government. And response to different issues that was not been there. But the question is, who is making these charge sheets? The BJP and the Congress both are neck deep in corruptions and scandals. One after another incidents, this Congress government, series of mega scams have taken place. But this BJP, when they're putting up a charge sheet, the mining mafias are back in Karnataka. B.S. Yedurappa is back. So, making a chart sheet, this BJP making a chart sheet trying to fill up the space of the Congress because this government, innumerable corruptions that has created a situation where the Congress is in doldrums. That is very specific, but I want to make a point that I was hearing about GDP growth. GDP growth, you cannot eat GDP growth. GDP growth going up, that doesn't create a situation where you go on continue to be the republic of hunger, largest number of people dying out of malnutrition and hunger. These are the most sorry state of affairs because in our country, unfortunately, both the Congress and the BJP has been very instrumental in taking the policies of neoliberalism.
And it is a fact that when you were in government in West Bengal, you have neglected the poor of the poorest and the minorities, and today they have been suffering, and the reports say that in West Bengal the minorities are at the most economical this thing. And now
in 2009
let me complete. In West Bengal the minorities are as per the index at the worst of the this thing. And
Abid Rasool, you ask a question, listen to the reply.
Uncomparable.
Abid Rasool, listen to the reply.
The second prize for rural development to the Bengal government's minister. So there lies the hypocrisy.
Two questions go.
Why were you voted out of the government if you have done such a good job? Why were you voted out from all the states? Why were you not given this thing? What happened to you? If your government was so good, people would not have voted you out.
You just listen to me. The reality.
What should I listen? You're talking something which is totally against the facts. Why should I listen to you?
The facts will come.
You have
charge number 3.
Now you, as long you can say that you are
charge number 3.
Ideology. Yes, you are committed to an ideology. But
Mr. Rasool, Mr. Rasool, is it? Mr. Rasool, 1 minute. You should be little bit more accommodative of the left, at least on the Newshour debate. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten that your party leaders, authorized by Sonia Gandhi, are now begging the left for support after the elections?
I will contradict every charge which is false and which is not substantiated by facts.
You are begging the left for support and then you are calling them names.
All facts are
I am not a man who will compromise on the principles of my
Charge number.
It's a United Nations report that
Charge
says
number
it's
2.
a republic of hunger.
Charge number 1 second. By the way, charge number 2 is destruction of the Indian economy. Charge number 3 is major scams of the UPA government. Abid Rasool is embarrassed to talk about 2G coal, 2G spectrum, airport scam, Air India scam, Hassan Ali, black money scam, and rotten food scam, ISRO Devas scam, defense land scam, LIC housing scam, cash scam, Robert Vadra scam, KG Basin scam, hydroelectricity scam in the northeast, Tatra truck scam,
Helicopter scam is
railway truck scam, Augusta Westland scam, Adarsh scam, all these scams. You know, I can keep going on here. Do you think, Hartosh, at least on this point, or point number 3, do you think Mr. Abid Rasool is just trying to avoid the very critical issue which the BJP has raised, irrespective of whether you are ideologically with or against the BJP? Do you think charge number 3, the 21 scams of the UPA government, are the strongest charge?
No, absolutely. I mean, it's not about ideology. Loath as I am to agree with Subramanian Swamy, I must criticize his party for being too mild in the charge sheet, I think. You know, point number 1 and point 3 are absolutely connected. This Prime Minister did not lower the dignity of his office. He disappeared from this office. He never acted as the Prime Minister.
So well said.
Number 3 is a consequence of this kind of behavior. Not only were decisions being taken by his office, he seemed to be acting on instructions from other people in his party. He was a timid, passive observer while all this was going on.
Oh, yes.
And in that sense, yes, it is the most corrupt.
Let him complete. Mr. Rasool, you are again verbally heckling him. No, Mr.
People who directly responsible.
Mr. Rasool, you are heckling him.
You can debate.
You are heckling him.
You cannot call a Prime Minister of our country timid and all that.
Why can't we?
This is absolutely not
Why can't we?
acceptable. Now the fact
Why can't we call the Prime
No, why
Prime
can't we?
Minister
Why
has
can't
taken
we?
the country forward in times of trouble economically and has ruled the country for 10 years. Now all the scams you are talking about, each
Kamal
of the
Mitra
scams I need to discuss.
Kamal Mitra Chenoy looks completely zapped with that observation. The Congress party imperiously declares that you cannot criticize the Prime Minister or call him timid. What do you intend to do, Mr. Rasool? You are going to put Hartosh Singh Bal in lockup for calling him timid? No, anyway, Kamal Mitra Chenoy wanted to respond.
Channel, and I have a right to debate on your channel when you have.
Well, I won't call him timid. I'll call him a person who avoids facing problems. I mean, for example, in the scams that have been noted, where did the Prime Minister intervene to use the Controller and Auditor General and other possible people in positions of power to control the scams? How did the Prime Minister react, for example, to the coal block scams, which came before the PMO? How did the Prime Minister react to the most recent scams, where DLF has got permission to build 8-story building near Rashtrapati Bhavan in 23 acres of land, when the police has said that MI5 has shown that the Lashkar-e-Toiba could attack the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
Absolutely.
So the Prime Minister is fully part of it. Some people speak openly.
It is
the
a
Prime
change of
Minister is
land
very
use. We have debated that issue on
and
the
he
channel.
avoids putting his head in the noose.
No, I find today a similarity between debate number 1 and debate number 2. Mr. Raghunandan, this is my observation. In debate number 1, the BJP desperately tried to avoid going into details of whether Mr. Advani, Uma Bharti, etc. knew about the demolition of the Babri Masjid. They just kept asking Anirudh Behal and Cobra Pose, why did you come out with this whole thing now? Similarly, I find that in debate number 2, Abid Rasool is so badly on the back foot. And Mr. Rasool, think about it. You have a charge sheet against you. You are looking like you are on the back foot. Hartosh has challenged you.
Absolutely not. I am ready to counter all your panelists who are against the Congress and talking in the language which is not right.
Mr.
Now,
Raghunandan,
about the scam of Rashtrapati Bhavan, I would like to say that it is only a change of land use, where after the security report, the permission has been granted only to a height which is permissible.
Mr.
So
Abid
your
Rasool,
wrong statements on the
Mr.
channel,
Rasool,
I need to rebut. If I don't do it, I am not doing my duty as a spokesperson of the party.
That favored Vadra, you are favoring them again. You should be ashamed of yourself.
No, the question is, Mr. Abid Rasool, we are lucky that the Congress party didn't teach us English. You see, English is not a Congress party language that you are constantly questioning the language we are using. As far as I am aware, we are all speaking in English. There is a Queen's English,
yes, but you cannot.
But I didn't know there is a Congress English.
You cannot use the word ashamed. You cannot use this word. These are not right. Let us have a healthy debate. I am ready for it.
What is not right?
No,
what is not right, Mr. Raghunandan? What is not right? What is not right? The question is, Mr. Rasool, isn't it indisputable? Isn't it indisputable that the Prime Minister of India did not intervene in the various scams despite being warned? Was he not warned? Isn't there merit in the BJP's charge of non-intervention, given the fact that I can challenge you today? I can tell you today that given the fact that the coal scam, the 2G scam, the CWG scam repeatedly brought to the Prime Minister's notice. We know what happened in the Parakh report. We know that Sunil Dutt wrote a letter to the Prime Minister telling him the 2G scam, CWG scam is going to happen. We know that Rajiv Chandrasekhar wrote a letter in 2007 along with Sitaram Yechury warning about the 2G scam. All of this we are not supposed to talk about. So the first charge sheet, Mr. Raghunandan, is the most important, that the Congress party has compromised the dignity and integrity of the office of the Prime Minister. I want your views on that. Then I have a few questions to ask Mr. Rasool. Yes, Mr. Raghunandan, you agree with the BJP or you want to pick up any other point?
Well, no, the point here is that, if you just stand back and look at this entire debate, the debate that was previous to this one and the current one, exactly as you said, you see, people are shy of speaking of things that put them in a tight spot. So there are accusations and counter accusations coming from all sides, and there is more than a grain of truth in these accusations. I mean, everybody is right to some extent when they point a finger at somebody else. But from the perspective of a voter, what I really would like to see is what is a positive intent of a party. I mean, even in this debate, we've had three parties criticizing and counter-criticizing each other. But what is their agenda for the future? As a voter, I would like to know that. And I think that the BJP's one point in which they have considerably weakened their position is by delaying their manifesto. Because one would look for, certainly, if there is a truth, there is truth in what they are saying. That's one point. But what are we going to expect from a party that aims to rule in the future is something that I would like to know. And if they're going to release their manifesto on the day that polling starts, I think that is that's really regrettable. That's regrettable.
I think we all agree with you on that. Even Subramanian Swamy does.
What is there to agree?
Even you do.
You have Narendra Modi's speech to the National Council. That is a clear enough. It's as good as the manifesto. You want an elaboration?
No, it isn't. It's not. It's an internal party discussion. Yes, certainly, sir.
1 week more.
Certainly.
Yeah,
but that 1 week is the time when I take a decision for whom to vote.
It's as clear as daylight.
No, sir, but that is an internal speech of your parties. It is an internal speech of one leader of your party. It does not constitute a manifesto. It does not constitute a manifesto.
Why didn't? Ritabrata.
A single individual's opinion.
No, 1 second. A counter question. Subramanian Swamy, I find that Ritabrata wants to counter question you. In that case, I just want to add one thing before Ritabrata comes in. Then Narendra Modi should have said, today I am not making a speech. Today I am reading the BJP manifesto, and Subramanian Swamy and Murli Manohar Joshi need not work so hard.
Exactly.
Ritabrata has a counter question to you. Ritabrata to Subramanian Swamy.
He said
Ritabrata to Subramanian Swamy.
Use the words you tell him to use.
No, the question is Subramanian Swamy and Congress, or both the BJP and the Congress, has to remember that facts are stronger than boasts. The boasts are going on in different parts of the country, but in reality, both Subramanian Swamy and Mr. Rashid both we are telling that. First, I say one point that I missed earlier. He was telling about facts. The most interesting thing is that the question of priority for both the Congress and the BJP, the priority has been these neoliberal economic policies, the crony capitalism. During the BJP regime it had happened, and even in this Congress regime, same thing. 20,000 crore of subsidy taken away from food, petroleum and fertilizers, and in the same budget you give 88,000 crores of rupees as tax exemptions, and you tell these people, Congress people, earlier BJP people have also said, you must not look to this as tax exemptions, these are incentives and these are stimulus packages. There lies the problem. A manifesto will not, when the manifesto is coming or not, that is important. What you will be there in the manifesto, that is important. In a whole elections, you don't have any discussion about the public distribution system. You don't have a discussion about these land reforms. All these things are missing out. The common agenda, the agenda of suffering India is missing out. The shining India agenda, because this is an agenda of the corporates. The corporates are pumping money because they want Modi to be the Prime Minister of the country. This is precisely happening. But the real agendas, the agendas of suffering India are till date missed out.
Well, the BJP also raises one of the points here is about weakening of state institutions by demoralizing their personnel and pitting one agency against the other. A case in point, Subramanian Swamy would be misusing the CBI to probe officers of the IB in alleged fake encounter cases. That is what the charge sheet says. I think you've read it. Now, you have raked up the Ishrat Jahan case to prove that the BJP... No, 1 minute, please let me complete. Hartosh, hasn't the BJP raised the Ishrat Jahan case to prove the CBI is on the witch hunt? Aren't they trying and muddying waters by making it one of national security because of the interrogation of an intelligence bureau official? If there is any evidence of any intelligence bureau official's involvement in an allegation as grave as a fake encounter, why should it not be investigated?
It is what the intelligence bureau director said. He said that you are undermining
Arnab,
the
if
institution.
Mr. Swamy will let somebody else speak.
And you can't say that he's communal because he's Muslim.
Come and join the BJP on the day of the retirement.
So Dr. Swamy, Hartosh is coming in. I am simply making a point. It is easier to point fingers than answer questions. Yes, Hartosh.
Arnab, I think the charge sheet speaks in this strange language and is partly diluted simply because they are preparing the ground to make sure that the cases that are sitting with this government don't end up embarrassing them when they are in power. Because this whole investigation of the IB officers, we all know where it leads to. And the same issue, you have not seen the BJP yet give a commitment that the cases against corporates that have come up in the various scams, the coal scams, the 2G scams, etc., will be taken to their logical conclusion. Now that is what we would like to see in a manifesto, a clear commitment that the law will be allowed to take its due sort of logical course.
No, I am picking up...
I am not frightened, Mr. Swamy, I am saying you are frightened. Mr. Swamy, you know what difficulty your own party, you and I would like action against corporates, but neither the Congress nor your own party is in any position to take that action. As you well know, Mr. Swamy.
Of course we have taken action. We have, Mr. Ambani has suffered more in my hands than anybody else. I made him repatriate $1.2 billion.
Your hands I'm talking. Why your party's hands, Mr. Swamy?
Cashed away in foreign countries.
Sir,
Swamy, why is BJP...
Not your hands, your party's hands.
No, 1 second. Mr. Swamy, I think you are being cornered here. Mr. Swamy, I think you are being cornered here. Ritabrata also wants to ask you something. Yes, Ritabrata.
That is your
I have a simple question for Mr. Swamy. This KGBS thing, why is BJP completely silent on this KGBS thing?
Take it to a logical extreme.
The question of corruption, is it the Ambanis are there, the Reliance is there. That is the sole reason why BJP is keeping its complete silence on the KGBS thing. The Congress is the main culprit, giving away all these resources of the country. The Reliance is benefiting. Congress's agenda has been, the priority has been the Reliance industry. But BJP, very interestingly, is completely silent on this KGBS thing. How can you fight corruption when in such a corruption you are keeping completely
That is not correct. That is not correct. There's no need for us to be silent. In fact, in my case...
I know there is no need, but then why are you silent?
BJP is completely silent. BJP is completely silent on the KGBS thing. Because you have these mining mafias coming against back in the stands. So it's difficult to
Why
speak
should I
against corruption.
duplicate?
How will you speak
I'm
against
not in the
corruption?
government.
B.S.
The day I'm in the
Yediyurappa
government,
has
I will
been
find
given a
the
red
case
carpet. A red
basic
carpet
case.
has been led for Yediyurappa. He has been brought back.
Tonight on this
how
debate,
is
the
this
BJP was putting a, one second, the BJP was the one,
We are not communists. We are not enemies of the corporate sector.
the BJP was the one which was pushing the, you know, putting the charge sheet against the Congress party. But tonight I find Subramanian Swamy finds himself on the defensive. And perhaps the reason, the moot point is Subramanian Swamy is because...
These are all your subjective definitions.
Fine.
I'm attacking and you don't even let me speak, and then you say I'm on the defensive.
You are on the
better go to
defensive.
dictionary,
Charge number 8.
You have
Charge number 8 of
Dictionary
undermining
is a
institutions.
completely...
Charge number 8 of
completely
undermining
distorted one.
institutions. You make a charge. Don't you make a charge? Undermining institutions?
Undermining institutions.
Yes.
What is defensive about it?
Once I'll tell you, you are you will now be on the defensive.
I am making a charge that
After my
Sonia
question.
Gandhi is a very corrupt person. What is defensive about it?
1 second, I'll tell you why. You should both be on the defensive. BJP should be on the defensive and Congress should be on the defensive.
Just because you say it's defensive, it's defensive.
The Congress should be on the defensive. The Congress-
only ones who are going to court. We are not the shoot and scoop type.
Kargil having sold the coffins. And what are you talking about all this? Now you have your own IPS officers behind bars, the largest number in the country, and you are talking of institutions strengthening. You have your whole cases against rape being dismissed in the court because of the advocates not properly contesting the cases, and you have your own ministers being convicted for rapes and mass murders, and you talk of institutions, you talk of crime, you talk of respect of this thing, and you have
So when Salman Khurshid
refugees within your own state,
when Salman Khurshid, listen to the question, so, Mr. Rasool, as recently as 13th of March this year, when Salman Khurshid, in one speech on a foreign land, criticized both the Supreme Court and the Election Commission, I ask you today, what was he? Strengthening these two very important institutions of democratic India? Was he strengthening the institutions?
He has not criticized them.
He has
discussed them.
Oh, please
and
not. He has criticized them. Subramanian Swamy.
He has gone for a lecture and discussed them. It cannot be said.
Ritabrata.
When you discuss an institution,
That
you
is not
discuss
at all
its
a
pro and
discussion.
cons. But that
The
is not
question
criticizing.
is, both the Congress and the BJP have been using these institutions at their own will,
lowering the
and they have been attacking
in the case
institutions
of
when they are on the
Gujarat, where you have
defensive. That is
internal cases
precisely
transferred out of
happening.
the state.
I was
This is
earlier
the first
giving an
time in the country
example.
that cases have been transferred out of one state. That is where you are lowering the prestige of the courts. That is where you are not accepting the verdicts of the court. You have a minister who is convicted and he continues to be a minister, and that is where you are lowering the prestige of the courts. It is not while discussing the pros and cons.
Anyway, I have one last question. I am running short of time. Subramanian Swamy, when is the manifesto coming out? I am now told that you have decided to release it somewhere in the middle of the elections.
No, you see, the Election Commission didn't want us to release it tomorrow.
So when are you going? So there is no manifesto.
We have to take a 1 week adjournment.
1 week more.
No, for 1
Kamal
week.
Mitra Chenoy.
What is that? You want to know what's in the manifesto? You read Narendra Modi's speech. I don't know why you want everything.
Sir, it's
in
not
the
for
form
me.
of a manifesto. Manifesto is a
Mr.
very
Raghunandan.
verbose document. You read a concise, crisp.
Mr. Raghunandan, this is
Modi that will tell you
this is by the way, 1 second. This is breaking news. This is really breaking news. Subramanian Swamy has announced the BJP manifesto has been put off by 1 more week, which means somewhere around 12th, 13th, 14th, maybe. And maybe then they'll say 1 more week as well. So this is a world record. The BJP goes into the election without a manifesto. Mr. Raghunandan, that's your answer.
Why are you so?
Arnab, a manifesto is a very, very important document.
What is in the manifesto? It's in Narendra Modi's speech.
No, that's not enough. A manifesto is a very important document. When the NDA came to power, they came out. The manifesto becomes the action program of the government. It is discussed, it is deconstructed into actionable points, and ministries act upon it. The NDA government did it in the past. I have seen it. Similarly, when the UPA came up, they took their manifesto, they broke it up into ministry-wise component actionable items, and it became the common minimum program. So it's absolutely important that we must have a manifesto. I am very worried when a manifesto...
only
A
the
manifesto
governance
cannot be
document was brought in
replaced
after that.
by a speech of intent. A manifesto is very important. It is important because it is the basis,
not a
it's the
speech.
official document
It's a
on which a
written
voter makes up his
document from
mind.
which is
Sir,
Not
I say
a
you are
speech of
avoiding,
any particular leader.
you have not released a manifesto. It will be believed because you are fighting internally on FDI in retail.
Exactly.
You are fighting on the Ram Temple issue.
That is your
and you are
surmise.
fighting over Article
Your
377.
surmise always goes wrong.
And my surmise is
It
not
all
wrong.
your surmise, it doesn't
My
know.
surmise is not wrong.
We
Day
know what
before
you're going to do
yesterday-
in government.
No,
People know what
my
you're going to do
surmise
in
is
government.
right.
And every day, every poll, our number is going up.
No.
Manifesto or no manifesto?
No, that is don't.
Every opinion poll is saying that we are increasing our numbers,
Of your party.
whether the
You talk
manifesto
of one
comes or
speech
not.
And you talk of one face and you want
The
to run this country.
opinion
This great
polls don't
country will be run
decide.
by one
The
speech.
people of the country on the voting day will decide that
for
what
the
will
first
happen.
for the first time in any election. Now, these are interesting. The party that
All
this is the
right,
first,
till that time you have to go by opinion
the
poll.
first party
The trend is
to
very
announce the
clear.
setting up of a manifesto
Every day
committee.
BJP is
The
gaining.
first party to announce the name of the prime ministerial candidate.
Manifesto should be first in the charge sheet against the BJP.
The first party to do all that is also the last party to have a manifesto. Till yesterday, that was the situation, and today it is officially proven, ladies and gentlemen. The BJP goes into India 2014, the biggest election, without a manifesto. This is unbelievable, but Subramanian Swamy has confirmed it.
And
Now
still
you
win
can,
the election.
and Subramanian Swamy says to everyone, you don't need the manifesto, go see Modi's speech. Subramanian Swamy, you really work hard, but sometimes I don't know, why your work comes to naught. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining me on debate number 2 on the Newshour tonight. Thank you.